I'm very pleased to meet you all today for this webinar about our SYSTRAN Translate Suite Generation 10. I'm Guillaume Bretin, Group Product Manager at SYSTRAN, and we have a bunch of news to unveil, and that's my pleasure to present them to you. And I'm here with Elise, who will present our recent advance regarding our translation models, adaptation techniques, and also speech models. So this webinar is recorded, so you will get access to the recording in a few days. Participants are on mute, so please ask your questions via the channel at the end or within the webinar in order for us to answer them at the end of the webinar. So there will be a 15-minute Q&A session at the end. So let's start about our SYSTRAN Generation 10. So how to unveil the future? So I'm here to, so just so how to consider the future without taking few minutes to considering our past and our foundation, which is SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server. SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server was a perfect name for our precedent version 9, as it was a major breakthrough on the machine translation market, and so we wanted to highlight it in our product offering. Now that the technology is well known and installed, we wanted to review our offering to better reflect the new direction we wanted to give to our service. You all know that what we do is a complex recipe of mechanism and algorithm in order to translate as a human would do. But this complexity is our concern, and it's our role to present it as simple as possible for our user. In 2 words, we wanted to bring simplicity and readability to our offer. So let me introduce our new product suite, now with a mutual name, SYSTRAN Translate, and also a new product color and identity, as you can see on the screen. We've got 2 main product ranges, SYSTRAN Translate Cloud and SYSTRAN Translate Server. In our cloud offer, we include SYSTRAN Translate Pro for individual and small business, and also SYSTRAN Translate Enterprise for bigger enterprise. On our server offering, we've got SYSTRAN Translate Private Cloud and also SYSTRAN Translate Server. Each offer targets a specific size of business, so you can start from individual and small business with our Translate Pro offer to large companies or institutions or even companies with high volume demand with the highest level of privacy on our server offer. Languages and volume depends on each offer, so you can have all the catalog or a specific dedicated engine on our server side. Also, database can be from multi-tenant to single tenant or even depends on your own customer infrastructure. And deployment and update starts with self-subscription and automatic update done by SYSTRAN on the cloud offering to directly install and update it by you on our server side offering. So our offer is flexible enough to meet most of business needs. And last but not least, here is Model Studio, our complement offer to help you train your own neural network engine with your own data in few clicks. Model Studio takes care of the complexity for you. You don't need any technical background. You just have to upload your data and start the training. Model Studio has been specifically designed to adapt the engine configuration to your data and to take the most of your in-domain data, even if you have a very small amount of it. Model Studio is ready and compliant with all our server deployment mode, and also it's ready to take into account our last improvement in linguistic configuration, as we will see later with Elise. Our foundation, it's also a mission for our company, values, and vision for our product. Let's start with our mission. Our mission is to help people break the language barrier. And that undertakes many things like assisting you and helping you with the best solution you can expect from us, efficiency, user experience also. Our values have been defined to keep pushing ahead and giving you the best of what you can expect from us: innovation, transparency, excellence, and also commitments. And our product vision is to propose the best translation service, smart, specialized, and highly secured. In order to meet our vision, we have defined 4 goals, which are: propose a great user experience, enhance your workflows, improve performance and security, and offer a great translation quality, which is the last but not the least. And those 4 goals have been defined to help you increase your business performance every day. Now let's start with our first goal, our revamped user experience. Here is our service as you know it today. We had a lot of focus in the past on efficiency, great translation quality, security, and with years, the interface has become a little bit outdated. We've done interviews, we've heard users' feedback, and especially our final users that wanted a more simple and better user experience. It's true that simplicity is something that we really wanted to address, but it can be hard sometimes when your product deals with complex mechanisms. But we really wanted to pay attention to bring a better user experience to our users and have a pleasant navigations in order for them to better feel at ease into the application. And so our new user interface has to be synonymous with a new lexical field, which is modern, smooth, clear, simple, and friendly. To do so, we have set up a new team at SYSTRAN with people dedicated to better understand our users' needs and pain points, and that starts also with a new product designer. With our product designer, we've set direction and defined pillars in order to create a great user interface, beautifully crafted and user-centric. And that starts with the design to focus on the aesthetic of the product, but also its related materials, images, colors, fonts. Also on navigation to propose to help user easily navigate into the application with a new header bar and sidebar. Content to review and migrate all our pages on a brand new modern front-end stack while revamping the experience and to enhance its efficiency for each pages. And also interaction to give some visual feedback of the user action into the application. Enough speaking, let's start this new theme and revamped user experience. And as a video worth 1,000 words, let me show you the main keys, main takeaways to find in this video. Hi everybody, here is our new user experience with a new identity and icons. As you can see, there is a new header bar with product name on the left and quick links on the right. Quick links help you access easily your account, but also change the navigation language, access the help or the notification. Talking about the help, we have a brand new integrated help that help you search any topic you want to help you use the application. As you can see on the left, there is a brand new sidebar. This sidebar has been thought to let you navigate easily in the app and let you know where you are at all times. You can also adapt the size of this sidebar using the little arrow at the top of the sidebar. And choose between the expand mode with page entry's name or the collapse mode with icons only to give you more space to work. As you can see, we have group entries into main categories like translation tools, linguistic configuration, monitoring, and we also have a brand new admin panel to easily access dedicated features with permission, for example, user management, advanced statistics, or server management. We wanted to give you focus and ease the text reading of your contents and elements on the interface. To do so, we have added a light gray background and changed our font for a new one that helps to read quickly and pleasantly. Now let's talk about our new translation experience. We wanted to give you a unified experience of the Translate box with boxes integrated to the language selector you can see on top of the page. With auto-detect, German, French, and English, for example, here for the last used source languages. You have the same experience on target languages, and you can also click on the arrow to launch the language selector and type some word to quickly search the desired language. Active language is always shown in blue with a specific overstate. And at any time, you can adapt the settings of the translation by clicking on the ellipsis at the end of the Translate box. Ellipses give you access to translation profile settings, display settings, and also general language preference. Translation profile settings lets you search and select the profile you want to apply to your translation. For example, here, two possible profiles for English-French. Display settings help you to fine-tune your experience, like automatically adapt the size of the text. Once you have typed a text into the Translate box, some action buttons appear to let you hear the source text, hear the target text, clear the source text, copy the target text, and also adapt the translation by clicking on the profile drawer just directly into the Translate box. You will have other possible profiles for your translation and the choice of language pair. You can select the one you prefer and apply it directly. You still have access to the dictionary lookup below the box. You just have to select a word on an expression in order to have some details on it. And at any time, you can switch the translation using the switch button. Also, one more thing, the translation box is responsive and adapts its size to your screen in order for you to work with the best experience ever. I hope that you enjoyed our new interface and Translate box experience. Here are some key facts to remember about this new interface. So you've got a new color scheme and a new font in order to have a pleasant reading and focus on what matters the most. You've got a new header bar with a new logo and quick access. Also a collapsible sidebar with new sidebar feature group and admin panel, and also a brand new Translate box with a new language selector and settings experience. Now let's talk about our second goal and how to enhance your workflows. We've especially worked on ways for you to improve your interaction with our translation service and about alternative translation, favorite profile, new file formats, and extension and apps. Let's talk about alternative translation. It's now possible to choose a variation for the end of your sentence that would better fit the meaning you want to give to the translation, and that is now possible with this alternative translation. You just have to click on a word, and then you will have a pop-in with some suggestion, and you just have to click on one of the suggestions in order to adapt the end of your sentence directly into the target. As you may know, we also propose more than 30 file formats for file translation, including the ones of Microsoft Office for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, but also for PDF and HTML and much more. And last year, we have also launched a new file format with configurable JSON, Markdown, and I'm happy to say that starting V10, it will also be possible to translate IDML, which is the open source format from InDesign file, and also SRT for your subtitle files. Our translation service helps you tailor your translation considering several aspects. You can define a translation profile, taking into consideration user dictionary, translation memory, and also option. It's now possible to set this translation profile as favorites in order to always use the same for a given language pair. And that's possible, and you can set it through our translate box. In the setting of the text translation box. It will also be possible to do it later in our new profile page experience that will come in a later version. We know that you use different context and also workflows to answer your translation needs. That's why, by the past, we've launched an extension for Chrome and Firefox for browser extensions, but also application for Windows, macOS, and Linux, and Microsoft add-ins in order to be as close as possible to your translation needs. And recently, we have reviewed our Chrome extension for a better user experience and more reliability and efficiency, especially on dynamic pages. Let me show you this in a short video. Our previous Chrome extension has not evolved for a long time, so we wanted to focus on it to offer better navigation experience. So we dedicated a team to first review it on Chrome. We now have, as you can see, a modern extension with a new interface, which also brings more stability and better management of web page content framing. As you can see, the new design includes dedicated sections, which are automatically expanded or collapsed depending on the context. You want to translate a full page, so let's go. We'll only show what is relevant on screen, and a progress bar will give you some feedback during the progress. You also have the possibility to activate auto-translation. Auto-translation in order to continue translating automatically during your navigation. Once translated, you can easily switch between the original page and the translated one. You can also translate any piece of text just by selecting it and then launching the extension. The web page translation has been optimized for all types of websites, but especially for dynamic websites or single application website that loads content dynamically without refreshing the whole page. As you can see, and I have activated the auto translation, I can now navigate on the page and simply click on links that will also be translated automatically. You want a translation for a sentence you have in mind while surfing on the web without leaving your browser? Then directly enter the sentence into the translate box and you will have the translation automatically. You will be able to use action button like the clear button and copy button easily. And this new experience of the web extension is now also available on Firefox. Speaking of extension, we also have a bunch of partners and services with which you can use our translation service in context. We currently have more than 30 integration with web service, and we recently have launched other. So you can see on the screen a representation of the services with which we are integrated. And we have recently launched a new integration for Zendesk, UiPath, ServiceNow, Trados Cloud, Crowdin, and also Lengo, which bring SYSTRAN Translate machine translation for Confluence Atlassian. Our third goal is to improve performance and security. And I'm happy to say that we are compliant with the enterprise distribution of Linux 8 and also starting V10 enterprise distribution of Linux 9. We have also reviewed, as I was saying before, our front-end stack in order to have a modern front-end stack compliant with React 18, Node.js 18, and Material UI. Speaking of security, we've also heard the concern of system administrator that needed improvement into the deployment of our application, and so to take into account the specific security requirements. That's why I'm happy to say that starting V10, we will be Dockerless and also soon non-root. I hope that you've enjoyed those announcements, and all of that wouldn't be possible without great translation models. And that's why I'm happy to hand over to Elise in order to unveil our last announcements about our fourth goal to offer you a great translation quality.
Thank you, Guillaume. I'm Elise Bertin-Lemée, and I'm very happy to be here today to talk about this goal that is last, but as we said, not the least. And I'm really happy to present today how our team pushed translation quality to the highest level for this V10. So first, for us, we see quality as a mountain that we can scale. It's not easy, but we can make it. And this by climbing to a new generation of models. At the base of this mountain, we have a strong foundation that are our L models. It's no mystery that we use transformers, and more precisely, large batch transformers for higher training speed. So we switched from M models with around 100 million parameters to new L models with between 200 and 300 million parameters. And with this new configuration, we renewed almost all our stock with more than 134 language pairs available as SYSTRAN L models as of today. As we ascend, the trail gets steeper, and we obtain incremental improvements through a powerful and precise data pipeline. We collect data from responsible sources to increase language and domain coverage. We clean it, classify it, handle various types of noise, protect or transform various numbers and entities in the data for robust handling of any input. And we even search for similarities between segments to find relevant data for particular use cases, especially when data is not abundant. And just as a mountaineer must navigate through uncharted territory and adapt to changing weather conditions, we too must adapt our approach to translation to account for the nuances of language and culture. I'm happy to say that we now cover Armenian, Hausa, and Tajik as new languages to cover up to 55 languages in SYSTRAN and 56 with Punjabi. We covered and developed several models that are specialized for some domains, with recent focus on energy, finance, health, and recently cybersecurity. In source, when relevant, our models can handle multiple locals or scripts, such as here in Chinese, in Arabic, or English. And in target, our new models are natively multi-local, and you can select the desired local, for example here, American or British English, directly from the language selector in text or file translation, or you can even set it in your favorite profile. Multiple locals in target are currently available for English, French, German, Portuguese, and Chinese. Then when we talk about formality, you should be able to choose the formality you want to translate in. So when source doesn't have formality, you can apply the desired formality level to the target, here formal or informal, selecting it in text or file translation or in the profile. This way you can choose the formality level of your translations from English to French, German, Italian, and soon Dutch, Spanish, and Polish. But what happens when source does have formality? Well, you can still apply the desired formality, meaning that you can keep the source formality level, here formal, or force the desired one, here informal. And this feature is available for French, German, and Italian for all combinations of these three languages, and we are working on the French-Spanish language pair. And just as a maintainer must have the physical strength and endurance to push through the toughest sections of the climb, well, we too have these technical capabilities and resources to handle large volumes of data at training and optimize translation at inference. Our model performance at translation time is highly optimized for speed and memory usage, with no negative impact on translation quality, both on CPU and GPU. It means that you can exploit RL models on your premises and get instant translations, even for large volumes. But as we climb the mountain of translation quality, we can realize that the summit is not just a single destination, but just the starting point for a wider journey to translate your specific content. And B10 comes with several adaptive translation flows to navigate new summits of high-quality translation. First, our models natively offer the possibility of integrating personal preferences into the translation process, as we've seen with translation alternatives. Like Guillaume showed, directly in the V10 translation box, you can dynamically navigate alternative translate suggestions provided by the translation model. Then you can start specializing the models by adding personal resources. With user dictionaries or UDIs, you can store terminology and do not translate items for an application over all your future translations. With translation memories, TMs, you can store validated examples of translated sentences to retrieve them when translating similar content. But the best happens when both the model suggestions and your input are combined to accommodate the unique requirements of your different industries. And you can do that with neural fuzzy adaptation, which we call also NFA. So NFA is a mechanism internal to our models for them to take inspiration from your TMs to boost your new translations and adapt them to your style and voice. It's present in most of our models, in 86 generic SYSTRAN models and other specialized engines. NFA is fully usable with SYSTRAN models, fully usable through our partners TMS, such as XTM, MemoQ, or Acros. And with B10, it also becomes available directly inside Translate server in 3 simple steps. First, you translate and post-edit a file, and you create or append a TM with the validated sentences. Then you create the profile with your TM attached, or you attach the TM to your existing profile and enable NFA with this toggle. Then you see the direct impact on your translation, and you can even see the fuzzy it was inspired from with a new drawer. But sometimes adaptation requires even deeper customization. So just as a maintainer must use very specialized equipment to navigate the toughest parts of the mountain, we too give you the advanced strategies and tools to overcome these challenges with Model Studio. Taking as a starting point state-of-the-art SYSTRAN generic and domain baselines, you benefit all their latest features, such as UDs, NFA, locals, and formality. You use an automatic data cleaning and processing procedure gradually improved by our team. Model Studio draws on this and adapts the training in only a few hours for you to get automatic evaluation and quality improvement, as you can expect blue scores from 20 to 30% compared to the baseline. Now let's talk about blue score as a measure for translation quality and adaptation impact. You can directly observe this impact. So here on the customer case study, you see a substantial increase with NFA, a higher increase with Model Studio, and the best of it is that NFA and Model Studio can be combined for the highest results. Knowing that the more fuzzy matches are found between your text and your TMs, the higher the expected gain with NFA, and the more specialized the data, the higher the expected gain with Model Studio. Now imagine standing at the summit of this towering mountain of translation quality, surrounded by nothing but snow and sky. The air is crisp and clear, and every sound you make echoes off the surrounding peaks. Now imagine that your voice, instead of echoing back to you in your language, just engraves your word on the surrounding rocks in perfect Japanese, Spanish, or French, written in any other language that you can think of. And that's what it's like to connect highly accurate speech recognition to SYSTRAN translation, having your voice understood from everywhere you stand. You can choose to connect speech to text with our partners, Vocapia, Nuance, and Aptech. And with a new speech offer coming with V10, you can open new speech recognition possibilities. But we'll talk about it in more detail in a dedicated webinar on December 12th. So stay tuned. So in a nutshell, what this new generation of translation products can offer you is a Translation Server V10 with a new identity, a new design, an interface, a brand new translation box with much more interactive and easy to use. Also, this new version brings more tools to help you on a daily basis. You can select your favorite profiles and translation preferences. They will be applied for all your translation requests afterwards. More apps and to bring translation where your needs are, especially with the new browser extension, and also through our entire suite of add-in applications and connectors. More possibilities in terms of content to translate. More textual format that can be translated, such as subtitles or InDesign files, and also processing speech content. We also kept pace to maintain security and compliance at a high level with an upgrade of third parties, OS requirements, and a streamlined installation process. And on the translation quality side, we made general improvements in quality with our large models, more parameters, and specialized for translation. Also, translation features that are now available whenever applicable, such as a selection of the formality level or regional locals. And in terms of customization and adaptation, user can now interact with engines to get alternative suggestions in the translation box. NFA adaptations are now available directly in Translation Server. It brings this feature beyond the field of just localization projects. It can be applied to all the interactive translation flows through the translation box, the extensions, the apps, file translation, or the API, just by configuring your profile. And of course, all these features are here to stay when you specialize your own model with Model Studio. So it was our pleasure to present V10 to you. And now it's time for your questions. Thank you for your attention. So our first question is, Is Model Studio integrated directly into the server Enterprise Pro setup?
So Model Studio is not integrated directly into the server. It's a complement offer, like an add-on, so you can subscribe to Model Studio separately, but Model Studio needs a SYSTRAN Translate server in order to work together and to propose on Model Studio side, you can train your models and you can use them into SYSTRAN Translate.
Great. Then second question, when will be an FA function available in Trados Studio? So I know NFA has been enabled in one of our CMS Trados connector, and I'm not sure if it's been enabled in any Trados product, but we know and we have for sure a way to make it SYSTRAN and Trados work with NFA. Will version 10 be populated to our accounts automatically, or does it require an additional subscription? I guess it depends on the case, right?
Yes, I guess so. It's a sales question, but I would say that you can contact your sales representative in order to see with him or her which will be your case and how you can install and upgrade to the version 10 of SYSTRAN Translate. We do not. Do you have an extension for Edge also? So we do not have a native integration with the Edge store, but Edge is based on the Chromium, so it's totally possible to install our Chromium Chrome extension on Edge using the Chrome store, and you can do it and so use our Chrome extension on Edge.
Then there was another question that was similar to a previous one, like is Model Studio included in version 10? So it's a separate offer, but it's interesting for us to see it raises interest.
Do we need?
Another question is about speech. So we probably went a bit too fast there, where someone asked, do we need to license Nuance or another partner in order to be able to use the speech translation module? So you can use a speech translation tool with a license with any of our partners, Nuance, Aptech, or Vocapia. And with V10, we also open a SYSTRAN native offer that is an add-on offer where you can use directly another speech recognition directly integrated into SYSTRAN. But we'll talk about it more in the next webinar.
A question about updates on the REST API. So it was not the direct subject of this webinar, but of course our API is fully compliant with the version 10 of SYSTRAN Translate, and will continue to evolve alongside our console new features and enhancements.
And seems to be the last question. Oh no, other ones are coming. So with SYSTRAN Translate, am I correct to understand that I can feed my XTM TM into the server to translate segments? I think like TMs are simply a way to store your validated translation sentences. So, for example, if you store them in the TMX format, it's a format that is accepted both in your XTM TMS and inside SYSTRAN to be used for further translation. So I think the format is compatible, and TM is just a notion that is shared among TMS and SYSTRAN. Then we have a question about Teams
integration. So you can, I would say, contact also your sales representative in order to have more information regarding our Teams integration. It's behave like application inside Teams with which you can interact in order to have the translation of an entry on Teams. For NFA, can we also use the TMX from Logic Term?
So it's not set yet, but if we receive demands, we are open to allow this. It's not we just need to be in contact with the partner and the connector in the sense that NFA is really native to our models and included in all our latest language pairs. So the connection is not made yet, but it can be soon. And it seems to be the last question. So.
Yes, thanks everybody for your attention. We were very pleased to present you this new generation tense today. I hope you will have a good rest for the end of your day and see you soon for another webinar with Elise about speech translation.